There's a lot about Sarah and Tara that's exactly alike. They drink the same coffee, they have the same great job, and they both have a high-quality education. The only difference? Sarah spent her first 2 years at Carroll Community College, getting the same exceptional education, but at less than half the cost. So while Tara uses her paycheck to make student loan payments, Sarah can use hers for other things, like going out for coffee. Get started at carrollcc.edu.
Carroll Indoor Sports Center, celebrating its 30th season. 66,000 square feet of fields and courts. Rain or shine, multiple soccer and lacrosse leagues. Artificial turf fields and courts to rent. Party rooms and snack bar available. Summer camp for the kids. Safe indoor environment for athletes of all ages. Carroll Indoor Sports Center. Your sport, anytime.
CMSportsNet is made possible by Carroll Links, Carroll Indoor Sports Center, and Independent Car Service. The Central Maryland Sports Network is a programming service of the Community Media Center.
Good evening, everyone, and welcome to a special CMSportsNet broadcast. The first round of the regional football playoffs are here. We've got you covered tonight with a live post-game report. He's Nathan Schwartz. I'm Pat Stoetzer. We've reached the end of the night for 4 games that were taking place around Carroll County. We're going to go ahead and take a look at the final scores, and then we're going to get into the highlights. It's a crazy time of the year. It's the first round of the regional football playoffs. Let's see the final scores from the games. Before we get to see the final scores, Nathan, you know, we watched the games tonight. There was a game last night, 4 games tonight, 1 game tomorrow to go. Some defensive standouts tonight, some offensive explosions tonight, just a little bit of everything in the first round.
Yeah, a little bit of everything, and that's what you want with playoff football, right? You never know what to expect when it comes to, you know, these must-win games, and for, you know, a lot of these teams, it's not going to work out in their favor and their season's over, but there's a couple of teams that, you know, use those plays to their advantage tonight, and they're moving on to next weekend.
Absolutely, yeah. We're going to have the highlights for you for the game tonight. We had Seed School at Francis Scott Key. We had Walkersville at Century. We had Bair at Manchester Valley. And we had North Harford playing at Winters Mill. Winters Mill, the 1 seed in their bracket. And we'll get into each one of these games now as we go along. I think we're going to see the first highlights of the night. And it was Seed School at Francis Scott Key. The game was moved from Seed School in Baltimore City down to Uniontown. And we went ground and pound right away, Nathan. In our halftime report we gave you guys, it was a lot of offense early on for the Sabres.
Yeah, Dominic Wilkins gets it started with that 15-yard rushing score. You'll see, you know, Michael Smith had a run there, and then Jared Gregory finds the end zone. There was a little bit of everything in this one, Pat, for Seed, where they had the ground early, and then they really relied on the air. One of the rare highlights defensively for FSK there.
Chase Raplogle, nice tackle for loss, but it was just too much Seed. Like Nathan just said, Malcolm Smith, the quarterback, going up top all alone in the back of the end zone. That was Elijah Williams' 30-yard touchdown, made it 20-0 in favor of Seed. Offense got going a little bit for Key, and that's George Taku, one of the top runners in Carroll County. You got to like the way he runs with his head up high and his chin up high. But again, just Key couldn't sustain drives, and when Seed got things going, it was a lot to a little in terms of the offensive to defensive comparisons. Nice passing here too. I mean, you know, Malcolm Smith didn't have to throw too much. When he did, though, they got the job done.
Yeah, he found Jaleel Moss right there. You're going to see one of his few mistakes right here. Carter Rhodes gets a pick and a nice return for FSK, but really it was the Malcolm Smith show tonight up there in Uniontown. Was able to see the field really well, other than that play right there and a great return by Rhodes. But ultimately it was Seed School, other than one drive for Key, that really dominated this one.
Here's Jacob Betcher, the quarterback, not giving up, almost gets into the end zone, gets down inside the 5-yard line. Nathan's on the money. I mean, it was 27-0 Seed at halftime. There's the touchdown pass. Etzler to one of his receivers, and just, you know, again, too little too late for Key, but they didn't quit. And that's, at least, if you're going to look at a positive for Key, look, they had a rough season. They won back in week 2, didn't win again. Some of those games were lopsided. You see a big run there by Seed. Seed School's going to move on, going to come up with a field goal here, too. This was second half action. Again, they were already up by 4 scores at halftime. Key kept fighting, though, as again, we talked about there, Zettler with a nice pass, nice catch, actually, too. Down the side.
Now it's Gerhardt.
FSK, yeah, Gerhardt, right, correct. And I see Raekwon Warfield. Nope, it's going to be Etzler. He gets the touchdown run So they did get on the board, and again, if you're going to try to get a silver lining, Nathan, is it the fight that Key put up in the second half? Yeah, it might be over. You might be thinking about the season's coming to an end. Here's a little bit of a wildcat, but Key sniffed it out pretty good against Replogo again. So the defense didn't want to, like, they've been embarrassed a little bit this year, and they didn't want to go out with their heads down. But again, they just see a lot of seed school here on the ground. We saw it from the very beginning, how they were able to establish the ground game. A little bit like maybe a face mask there too on that to boot. There comes the flag. But you know, if you're Coach David Cunningham and his staff, you don't like the way the season ended. You don't like the way that it didn't quite work out for you as the final few plays of regulation. But yeah, pick there that I believe he gets tackled. The seed player on defense gets tackled before he gets a chance to score. So good hustle there by Taku, actually knocked him out of bounds. A little silver lining. You did get a couple touchdowns there, but just a kind of a lost season in Uniontown for the Eagles.
Yeah, 1-9 overall. Really rough way for that year to go for FSK. That's where our coverage started all the way back in August, and it's crazy that, you know, a lot of these seasons are coming to a close tonight.
Can't believe it. We talked about this too. It's already been 9-10 weeks since the season started. Let's get to Manchester, the Stampede, and your guy, Rufus Bradley, with a 60-yard scamper. Almost fell down a few times, did Rufus, but a nice run for the Bobcats to set them up late in the first quarter.
And he's just a freshman, really, his first big run at the high school level.
John Johnson there as well for Bel Air. So their ground game looked like it was in pretty good shape early on. No points on the board after one quarter. They do settle for a field goal in the second quarter, kind of early on. Caleb Yoakum, I believe, was the field goal kicker there. So 3-0 in favor of the Bobcats. This is a defensive effort all night long. Both teams kind of would get bogged down once they got past right around midfield. But this is a nice catch here by Tyler Fenwick. Michael Moore with the pass, get up to midfield. But again, this is the first half winding down. We gave you this in the halftime report. 3-0. Bobcats are sort of out of, maybe they had a timeout to play with here, but a nice throw here. Dominic Gray, I believe, makes the nice catch on the sideline. But as Nathan, you're gonna finish up this by showing what Man Valley did here at the end to sort of keep them out of the end zone.
Yeah, this was just kind of one of those weird busted plays where, you know, the quarterback never really got the snap, no timeouts, you don't have enough time to clock it. And there's been a lot of pinpoint plays for Manchester Valley this year where you can, you know, look and see where that game turned around. You know, a game we did, the hook and ladder at the end of the first half against Winters Mill really stood out. That play at the end of the first half, and then this one for Salih right here is county leading sixth interception to really get Manchester Valley back into that game at the turn of the first and second half, and then 34 in Navy Blue doing what he does best. You'll see it right here.
Yeah, Salih's been great on defense and offense all year, but you're right, 34, right around the same spot of the field where he caught that hook and ladder, although it was closer to the sideline. Gets away from a couple defenders. 47-yard touchdown run, Connor Stack, one of the leading point scorers in Carroll County, and all of a sudden, just like that, Man Valley couldn't get it going, takes a couple plays. The defense gets the ball, Stack does the rest, they're up 7-3.
Yeah, and you'll see Owen Hackler, Blake Pitta, some of the, you know, routine guys in that middle of the Manchester Valley defense come up big, but no bigger play in the game than right here for Manchester Valley. That's Bel Air's Dylan James off to the races, right? Looking to get the Bobcats the lead, but here comes Salih from behind, looking like DK Metcalf out there in the middle of the field. That really,
Denver, right?
That really saved the game for Manchester Valley, Pat.
At the moment, it's early in the fourth quarter. It's first and goal. Man Valley starts putting a stand up. They had some of their big bodies in there. They stop them there. Second and goal now. Again, it was a no gain there. So it was first and goal from the 4. Another running play. Boom. Here comes Man Valley's big defense. Ethan Atkinson and company getting in there. You mentioned some of their names as well. Blake Pitta and Owen Hackler have been doing it. Third and goal. Another one right at pretty much maybe a yard. Not even a yard. That's Salih on the tackle. They go for it, the Bobcats. Fourth and goal. Roll out. Michael Moore in the end zone, knocked away. He had a receiver open for a moment. I think that might have been Atkinson that knocked it away. Number 10, Colton Nunn gives the ball back to the official. It's a turnover on downs, but Bel Air gets it back, gets it to midfield. Another fourth down play. Moore goes deep, but overthrows his receivers. He had Stack and Atkinson in coverage there. Bel Air had another chance late, still 60 seconds or so left. Moore stumbles for a minute, down he goes. Actually, they called it. They were looking for a grounding, didn't get it. So anyway, 3rd and 13, stands are rumbling. Man Valley trying to get the stampede going. Moore's looking for somebody to throw to. He does make the catch here. So Bel Air has life. Time ticking away, just like in the first half. They got to get up there and clock it. After a spike, the ball hits down. Moore tries to throw to the sideline, caught. and out of bounds. That stopped the clock. So Bel Air had a chance. There we go. 2 seconds left. They're inside the 20-yard line.
All comes down to this.
Further in than I thought, actually. Throw into the end zone, but incomplete. And Man Valley holds on. It didn't feel like Man Valley had a comfortable margin of victory, a comfortable lead in any of that game, yet there they are advancing. We'll talk more about the brackets and where they go next. It'll be a familiar matchup in round 2, but Man Valley gets the 7-3 win. That is as hard-fought a win as you're going to see.
It really just felt like that entire fourth quarter was a nail-biter. Bel Air had so many chances, but, ultimately Man Valley moves on, and now we head to Eldersburg.
The Castle at Century High School. Walkersville Lions come to town from Frederick County. Colton Amaral gets the Lions off to a great start here with 8 minutes or so to go in the first quarter. Amaral, one of the top rushers in Frederick County, had a huge game earlier in the year, set the team record, and one of the top performances ever in a single game in Frederick County. And that's saying something. Frederick County has got a lot of great running backs through the years. But Walkersville came down to Eldersburg and got the job done pretty well. This is Owen Brooks, the quarterback. I believe that's an interception, though, by DeLon Barnes. So Century's defense trying to make itself known early in this game.
Yeah, but here comes Walkersville again.
Yep.
Big interception right there. Messiah Martin, second interception by Dexter of the first half of that first quarter.
Yeah, he almost scored, did Martin. Messiah Martin almost got in, but it'll be an Owen Brooks QB sneak. That's where I was going a minute ago. He gets in, not really a tush-push, just a QB sneak, the old-fashioned QB sneak, 7-0. You're going to see Colton Amaral again here. Take the handoff, go around the right end. Now, we thought when we saw this live, he had really hurt himself here. Kind of came down awkwardly, rolled around a little bit there, favoring the knee. He got up on his own power, got some help off the field. His teammates were a little bit concerned, as we saw that earlier, but you're going to see Colton Amaral
look at those
back in the game, right,
look
Nathan?
at those pink cleats on the left side. Takes a couple Tylenol maybe on the
yeah,
sideline.
I don't know, but he got
Ice
back
pack
in there.
Gets back into the game, and
helps
he's
the defense.
Good to go.
And we have Brooks again, another QB sneak. This made it 21-0 in favor of Walkersville. So a huge advantage with, like you said, just a half still to go in the second quarter. They weren't done yet. Amaral on the left side cuts it back to the middle, and they're not going to get him. Colton Amaral is in. That's his second touchdown, and he also had that long run we showed, so 28-0 Walkersville. Into the third quarter we go now, and trying to get something going. I think we're going to see Parker Helmick finally give the Knights a burst.
70 yards. I mean, this is exactly what Century needed. Game already kind of out of hand at this point, but, a comeback effort's got to start somewhere, right? Huge run there for Helmick to really bring life back into the Castle there, and that sets up this 18-yard touchdown from Jake Dexter to Will Koenig.
Nice play. We've seen that all year. Will Koenig, he missed a couple games after suffering concussion against Winters Mill. He came back, helped them beat Liberty last week in their rivalry game, the Freedom Bell. Nice to see them hook up one more time. They didn't know it at the time, but I believe that was going to be Jake Dexter's final touchdown pass as a high school quarterback, at least at Century for sure. Fans wanted a hold there, incomplete pass.
It was just kind of one of those stalemates for the rest of this one. They kind of both went back and forth, not much doing for either side. This run was really just Walkersville from the opening get-go.
Yeah.
When you have that strong of a start, it's hard to come back from despite Century having some momentum on these second half drives.
Yeah, you go down 28-0, you change the game plan, right? For Walkersville, not that you're going to let the foot off the gas necessarily, Nathan, but you can do things a little different. We're going to see the next game as well. Here you see Jake Dexter trying to get something going. Another interception near the goal line. Wasn't Dexter's night. He had a great season, and they fall short 28-7. I was just trying to add in that, it just changes the way the mentality of the game. You're going to come from behind. You're 4 or 5 scores down if you're Century, and if you're Walkersville, you're just trying to stay healthy and move on to the next round. That's what Walkersville does. 28-7, the final score there in the Castle as the Lions advance.
Yeah, but one quick note, Dexter, led the county in passing yards this year, passing touchdowns, with that being his last high school game. Just what a way for him to go out with a great year.
Yep, no doubt about it. Had a great year. One more, the Falcons' nest we go, and it was all Winters Mill right off pretty much from the get-go against North Harford, and we saw the running attack. You mentioned it in our halftime report, Nathan. They have been hard to stop all year. Jake Andolina, Luke Phillips, and of course, this guy right here, Austin Denning.
Denning, I mean, what more can we say about him, right? Came in to the game, tied third in the county in rushing attempts, 5th in rushing yards, 11 total touchdowns. Oh, and he also had 4 interceptions on the defensive side of the ball.
And kicks the extra points in the field goals. Botch snap on the punt try here. We saw one of those last night, actually, in the Liberty-Williamsport game. This one goes in Winters Mill's favor, and the Falcons right back to the attack on offense, and I believe this is going to be Jake Andolina the very next play.
his 8th touchdown of the season, his 7th on the ground. There's just been so many guys being able to get those touchdowns this year for Winters Mill.
A quick punt there on 4th down, blocked. I think that was Victor Tejada with the block and Victor Okoji with the return. So again, Winters Mill's offense set up on great field position. All right, it's early second quarter. We go back to the ground again. Austin Denning gets away from North Harford. You mentioned this one live, and we couldn't believe it, just the way that he weaves his way through that Hawks defense.
I mean, it looked like nobody wanted to tackle him,
Nobody
right?
wanted to tackle him. I wouldn't want to tackle him.
You know, the will, he didn't want to go down. You know, either way, what a touchdown run from Austin Denning, and that's when it started to feel that this one was going to be all Falcons.
Another run. Luke Phillips gets it on the left, around the left side, finds some room, invites the contact down to the 30-yard line. It's just the 20-yard line, rather. It's just when you're up 21-0 like this, and you got still the second quarter to go, why not give it to Victor Tejada as well for a touchdown run?
He earned that one. After the block punt, he earned that one. So excited.
We haven't seen the last of Victor as well, but yes, absolutely. Block punt, and his just desserts is that short touchdown run. 27-0. They kicked the extra point, made it 27-0. Here it is, late second half. The pass attempt from North Harford picked by Winters Mill, bobbled into the hands of Victor Tejada, and the big man knows how to get into the end zone. He's going to be going into the wrestling season after this. He's not done playing football yet. Look at him, high elbows, high knees. He wants all of it. 35-0. Winters Mill was rolling here.
And shout out to Kim Brangle on that last play, getting the tip to set up the Tejada pick six.
Oh, and Matt Miller with the catch on the sideline. Nice hands, coach. 35-0 Falcons late third quarter. The Falcons continue to pile it on. They already had a running clock. This pads the lead. They go up 42-0. Josh Smith, I believe, on that carry right there. So, again, 42-0 North Harford trying to make something happen. They did get back into the game slightly. This was a nice catch and run for the Hawks. Too little, too late. That's actually went for 2 and stopped the running clock. Fans of the running clock won't like that. But North Harford's trying to play the game. They got it to 20, 42-22, but Neil Downs there the rest of the way. And Winters Mill moves on. The Falcons 7-3 now after that win. They bounced back in a big way. They got humiliated on the field, and Matt Miller would say as much against Westminster. They said that wasn't us. It was just a bad look all around. They bounced back in a big way. So these are final scores here. Seed School 30-14 over Key. Man Valley squeaks by Bel Air 7-3. Walkersville 28-7 over Century, and Winters Mill moving on. They beat North Harford 42-22. We're going to look at the brackets now as we talk about the next round, and you mentioned matchups, Nathan, who's playing who next. Here's 2A North, and look at the top of the bracket, my friend. Man Valley at Winters Mill, round 2. It was at Winters Mill or at Man Valley the last time. You and I were there. We expect nothing more than another great game in this second round of the playoffs.
Yeah, that was an interesting game about a month and a half ago up there at the stable. 16-6, Manchester Valley won. They had 16 unanswered points after Austin Denning ran in the lone score for Winters Mill on their opening drive. Really excited to see round 2 next week.
Here's 1A North. We saw Seed School advance. They beat Key. They will go to Pikesville the next round. The Boonesboro Western Tech game started late tonight, so we don't know who won. If it's chalk, it'll be Lock Raven at Boonesboro in the next round. Just a reminder, that third part of the bracket's not who wins those next games. They shuffle it up for the state quarterfinals, so it's to be determined who they play next in all the classifications. The 2A, 1A West, we saw Liberty's during our halftime report, and last night Liberty beat Williamsport on the road. They'll get a tall task in Middletown next week, and the Walkersville Lions move on. They will either play South Carroll at home or they'll go to Randallstown. That game's tomorrow, South Carroll at Randallstown.
And note, South Carroll lost to Walkersville earlier in the season back in week 2, so that could be a rematch at Walkersville again.
Right. If not, they go to the Rams in Baltimore County. 3A North, Westminster had the bye. We already know they're going to host Athelton next week. There was one game in the 3A North tonight, and Newtown squeaked past Franklin. Franklin beat Westminster in week 1, blocked a field goal late, 12-10. Newtown goes to Milford Mill now. They're a tough customer. They're the top seed. Westminster will be at home next week at Ruby Field to take on Athelton. We can talk about these scores, but I already know you want to talk about Winters Mill and Man Valley just because it's a county matchup in the next round, but also there's storylines. You know, Man Valley can try to beat Winters Mill for the second time. This one will be at Winters Mill, and the Falcons want to get the sour taste out of their mouth from the last time they played.
Yeah, I mean, with the way the brackets are constructed, right, you're going to have those, county matchups sometimes, and with the way it works out, this is a beautiful second-round matchup, right? Two teams that have really, struggled with identity throughout the year. I mean, Winters Mill, we know what they do well. Manchester Valley's been very hot and cold. man, it's just going to be one of those games. I feel like whatever team is able to get more success running the football is going to be able to win the game. Is it going to be Connor Stack and John Day from Manchester Valley, or is it going to be that three-headed monster of Andalina, Phillips, and Denning for Winners Mill?
Will Walter Salih factor in on defense?
Sure.
We saw Victor Tejada with a huge day today on defense. That game was Winners Mill moved the chains so effectively that first round, that first drive, 6-0. We thought, oh boy, here comes the Falcons running attack. And then Man Valley made some defensive stops and changes, and Winners Mill couldn't quite keep up. Would you say 16-6? Right, was the final score.
16-6.
Other than that, you mentioned Man Valley hot and cold. Other than last week, they rolled against a depleted Centennial team, but it's still a big win, 38-0. Their offense has been MIA a little bit for most of the second half of this season. Can they keep up with Winners Mill's running attack? I thought the same 4 weeks ago and 5 weeks ago, and obviously they did. They beat them. So cool storylines in the second round to see who goes to the state quarterfinals.
Yeah, I mean, that's why you play the games, right, Pat? I mean, anything can happen. Westminster coming off a bye. I'm really intrigued to see how the rest factors in there. That's a tough Appleton team that they're going to play next week. And then, if South Carroll, also we didn't talk about them tonight, but they're playing some good football right now. If they're able to go on the road tomorrow and beat Randallstown, then they play a Walkersville team that is red hot.
Sure,
so, I mean,
sure.
But again, you play the games, anything can happen, but we're really excited about that county matchup next week. So rare to see that, but we get it this year in 2025.
We do. We're looking forward to it. Before we go, we'll take a look at the latest CMSportsNet Athlete of the Week. It comes from South Carroll High School. The senior football standout helped the Cavaliers get a Week 9 win and some momentum heading into Saturday's playoff matchup with Randallstown. Let's take a look and see who it is. Latest CMSportsNet Athlete of the Week, Jake Miller, South Carroll football. Big win last week, Jake. 8 catches, 144 yards, couple of touchdowns. Tell me what was going right for you guys on offense that led you to the victory against Francis Scott Key.
I think the obvious thing was the pass game. I mean, they came out, we saw on film they were playing cover 1, which we knew we were going to have to take advantage of that. But seeing them come out playing cover 0, I just felt disrespected. I felt like you're going to leave a man one-on-one with me, you're going to pay, and I think we went well with that.
Licking your chops a little bit, just as long as you guys get rhythm on offense. And look, you guys have had some injuries on offense. Braden goes out, Jackson comes in, does a good job. Braden comes in a little bit back and forth. It's all about timing and continuity with the receivers and quarterbacks. How's that going this year, especially in the second half of the season? You guys have definitely turned things in the right direction in the second half.
With playing with 2 different quarterbacks, it can be hard because, it's just trying to find the right flow with the right one. I just think last game, Maz, he kept the flow of the whole game going. I just think from here on out, it's probably going to be Maz as our quarterback.
That being said, Jackson filled in admirably and did a good job. From the first half to the second half, as a leader and a senior on this team, what flipped for you guys? You guys were competitive in a couple of those games, just didn't get wins early on in the year, and obviously turned things around after that. What was one of the 2 biggest differences from the first half of the season to the second half?
I just think our defense has started to step up. We made different position changes. Outside backers has switched. I went from outside backer to safety. We've had people step up from not even playing on defense to playing on defense and starting. And I just think that since our defense can get a 3-and-out first drive, 3-and-out second drive, help us get the ability to score first and be up, I think that's a big game changer.
Last thing, Coach told me you're now the all-time leader in receiving. It was in the school's history.
Yeah.
I think Patrick Kelly had the record before. South Carroll, maybe doesn't throw the ball as much as other programs, but does that got to mean something extra special to you as a senior and a leader to be now your name in the record books at the top of the list?
Yeah, it means everything to me. All the work I put in. Even though the season's gone not the way we wanted to, just being able to have something I can graduate and have a record, and even give kids the opportunity to try and break my record now. It's great.
We'll hope you hold on for a little while, right?
Yeah, I'll hold on for a little bit. Yeah.
All right, Jay, congrats on a great game last week. Good luck in the playoffs.
Thank you.
CMSportsNet's Athlete of the Week is brought to you by Barnes Bollinger Insurance. We're here for the home team. And by Freedom Federal Credit Union, recognizing excellence both on the field and in our communities.
Don't disrespect Jake Miller.
That's right.
Congratulations, Jake Miller, the latest CMSportsNet Athlete of the Week. There's a look at all of our selections so far in the 2025 fall season that's not over just yet. We'll see what Jake Miller can do tomorrow against those Randallstown Rams and the South Carroll Cavaliers. Speaking of South Carroll, before we go, a quick update, a little breaking news. The volleyball team, 3-0 win tonight over Colonel Richardson in the state quarterfinals. They're moving on to the state semifinals. We've watched them along. They have won 16 matches in a row now, so congrats to the Cavaliers.
And their only loss was beginning of the season.
Smithsburg, and then they went and beat them in the regional finals. So they are rolling right now in Winfield. A reminder also, we'll have Clip Zone coverage tomorrow from the soccer state semifinals, Saturday from North County High School in Glen Burnie. Liberty boys face Allegheny at 2:30, followed by a girls Final Four matchup between county rivals Liberty and South Carroll. Nathan Schwartz will be there, and that game will start around 5. That's it for us tonight. We appreciate you watching. Be sure to catch all of our high school sports content online on Facebook and YouTube, as well as our website at CMSportsNet.com. You can watch us on cable channels 18 and HD 1072, and be sure to follow us on Instagram at CMSportsNet Action. For Nathan Schwartz, I'm Pat Stoetzer saying thanks again for watching. Have a great weekend. We'll see you next time.
CMSportsNet is made possible by Carroll Links, Carroll Indoor Sports Center, and independent car service.
There's a lot about Sarah and Tara that's exactly alike. They drink the same coffee, they have the same great job, and they both have a high-quality education. The only difference? Sarah spent her first 2 years at Carroll Community College, getting the same exceptional education, but at less than half the cost. So while Tara uses her paycheck to make student loan payments, Sarah can use hers for other things, like going out for coffee. Get started at carrollcc.edu.
Carroll Indoor Sports Center, celebrating its 30th season. 66,000 square feet of fields and courts. Rain or shine, multiple soccer and lacrosse leagues, artificial turf fields and courts to rent. Party rooms and snack bar available. Summer camp for the kids. Safe indoor environment for athletes of all ages. Carroll Indoor Sports Center, your sport anytime.